African Americans going to move to if you take that land. So what happened in this area with Vinegar Hill, and I think one of the reasons why it tends to get a lot more publicity is because it had about 40 or so businesses that were along the front. Now, not all of those businesses were African American owned, but a good majority of them were. And then you had home ownership that was happening, and then there was rental properties as well. And
Was
so
that all through where we are right now
so
and what we're looking at?
So over here, so it extended towards the downtown mall area. So part of the downtown mall is owned part of the footprint. Across the street, you got the Staples Shopping Center, and then you've got the Omni Hotel over there. So all of that area over there is where was part of the original Vinegar Hill footprint.
Okay.
And so once it was raised, and then it, a street went through it, and so after the, through eminent domain was declared. They put it to a vote. Of course, there was a poll tax, which most African Americans could not afford to pay. And so then that's how it was then justified. And then once the land was taken, it sat vacant for 20 years. So there was really no good reason behind taking it other than, some would argue that it was at the time, but nothing happened with it for 20 years. And so it essentially became thumbing your nose at the community after you took the land and you took all the opportunity and the wealth building that was happening within the African American community away. And so communities like West Haven was built, and also other places were built to be able to rehouse individuals that lost their homes. Some, again, were renters, some were homeowners, but again, that was cut off. And so now you're left with figuring it out.
What was the response at the time that the urban renewal took place? What was the response from the community? People protest? Did they
I don't know that much of the history, but I would imagine if someone took my home that I was in the middle of paying for and didn't get hardly anything for it, it probably wasn't good.
Yeah.
It didn't feel great. And then when you start to pass that history along to your children, and your children are old enough to see what happened and see how wealth building was cut off for your family, that's devastating. That's emotionally, that's financially, that's devastating in a lot of ways.
In some way that becomes part of your experience as well, the next generation, right?
Absolutely. And then what that says to you is that the city is not to be trusted, the community is not for us, and that anything that we try to do is not going to, either be allowed, if you will, because they're going to find some way to try and take it away from us. And so our goal is to change the narrative on that. We have the power to have our community the way we want to have our community, to own the things that we want to own. But at the same time, we also feel like that there's a opportunity that the city can help with creating more of that opportunity. There's a lot of great things that are happening in our community right now, and we're very fortunate, but we do need to see more. Yeah, we do need to see more. And so our goal is to create more of that opportunity. We have a beautiful community, Star Hill community, right behind us. It's an older community, and it was always kind of a mixed community. And so our goal with creating the small area plan is to make sure that we preserve and then we provide protections to that community, and that any development that happens, that it happens in a way that the community supports and feels like helps add character to their existing community, and that it doesn't take anything away from it. We don't want to do any harm. We want to be able to add to, but then we also have to think about the broader community and how do we make sure that there's opportunity for more individuals. Storefronts are very expensive here. Our vagrancy rate is extremely low, and so as a result, the amount of money that people have to spend to have a public-facing business is extremely high. We know that with technology, things are moving away from that, but at the end of the day, you need some of that to happen to add to the fabric of the community. So when other African Americans come, or African Americans that are growing up in this community, that they see more businesses that are run and owned by people that look like them, that gives them that excitement and inspiration that this is a community for them, and that when they go to college, that they want to come back and they want to continue to help grow the community in a way that they see the community should be grown.
Do you mentioned the city a number of times. Do you have a good working relationship with the city or with the city council member who represents this district?
So we are not districted here. So
Oh,
everybody's
it's at large?
Yes, everyone
Okay.
is at large. And so yes, we have a good relationship with the current council. The council is going to be the majority of the council is going to be changing in December. So we're in the middle of an election here as well. So we have 3 council members that will be rolling off. 2 of the council members that really kind of started the charge on this was Councilman Bellamy and Councilwoman Galvin, and so they were the 2 that kind of brought the initial group together, and then from that we've grown and we've developed relationships with others, and then our goal is to develop relationships with the incoming council members as well, because at the end of the day we have to do it collaboratively, and not only just the city but the university has an opportunity to be to do good in the community as well, which is what they're saying that they want to do, and to be more of a participant in how the community can grow and how they can leverage their resources to be able to help that happen, because they are the largest employer in the area here, but also they have a lot of resources, and they also, their history is very, very tainted with a lot of the negative things that they've enacted upon the community as well. So there's a lot of atonement that needs to happen all the way around.
It's interesting also you mentioned the demographics of Charlottesville, and you talked about a city that was 52% African American at one point, that is today 19%, and probably from some of what you've just told me, not accidental, but by design. You mentioned the deed restrictions, you mentioned the demolishing of African American communities and business opportunities. So, and then you used the word atonement, and others have talked about repair or reparation. But it seems like that's an opportunity for the city of Charlottesville, or the community, or the country, to recognize a grave injustice and to begin to correct that or repair it, or
Absolutely, because urban renewal
make good on it.
didn't just happen in our city, right? It happened all across our country. And what has that done to the wealth building in African American communities all across the country? Obviously we live here, and so it's very important to our community what happens here, but I think it's, we also have to look at the fact that it happened a lot of places. And so when we think about, where would we be today had, it seems in so many instances that as African Americans really tried to move forward, then it's something, folks would intervene, whether it was government, whether it was the local community, would intervene on that growth. So
you know what, this conversation will feel even better in the shade.
Absolutely.
Quentin, you're looking out for us. Absolutely. You got to maintain that shirt.
That's right.
You don't need no sweat about that.
So we are in the middle. We're working with Bliss Corporation. Are you familiar with them?
No.
They're National PDFI. They're a nonprofit. It stands for Local Initiative Support Corporation. And so essentially what they do is they help communities transform in the way that they want to transform. And they're able to help bring capital to the table if that's what's needed, or other supportive resources to the table. And so Morris Jones is the CEO of Bliss, and he also is a UVA grad, and he happens to serve on the Board of Visitors here for UVA. And so as a result, we were able to get connected in with him and his organization, and so they're working with us to do a small area plan for the Star Hill area, which is a 48 acre area. So we wanted to be able to make
And
sure.
this is Star Hill.
Yes, so this is going across the street here where the Staples community is, this footprint, and then the neighborhood back here, and then there's also businesses along Main Street here, kind of down all the way down to the Amtrak station. That is the footprint of Star Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do the footprints of Star Hill and historic Vinegar Hill overlap, or are they just connected to each other?
They're connected.
Okay,
So
got it. So
yeah,
Vinegar Hill, this side and this side.
more of this side over
Okay.
here and along this side up here, so kind of
Okay.
towards this way.
Got
And
it.
so it was, that area was divided with streets. So I'm not the local historian. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned over time.
That's helpful.
And we've got lots of wonderful people here that have great information.
Hi, Beto. Nice to meet you.
He helped,
Hey, how are you?
He helped to integrate the city schools.
Just read this morning about all the killings, football games, 10 people got shot.
Time on.
Norfolk, all over the country, and with the gun violence. Here in Charlottesville, we do what is called yoga.
Okay.
Let it go. All the confrontation, what have you, the guns and what have you. It should be dealing with the guns, but there is a problem internal with people. Hurt people hurt people. And overall, folks are not addressing the hurt. Everything is not an app.
Right.
The bullet is not an app. Yoga, if we can remind people to let it go. You follow me?
I
Yoga.
do. Yeah.
All the noise.
Yes.
Let it go.
Let it go.
And it needs to be constant. Just like they spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl commercials. If you're driving, riding, or walking, and just that reminder before you pull out the weapon, do the attack, let it go. Now, if someone has lost it, it's not rational, maybe their friend or buddy can whisper, let it go. It ain't working. No. Let it go. It's not working. So you can take us back with you. And
will.
you was in Charlottesville, you came across yoga. I'm Mr. Alexander. I'm one of the Charlottesville 12, the first integrated schools in the state of Virginia.
Historical figure right here.
In,
Mr.
19,
Alexander.
in 1959.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought since you was passing through, maybe you could
Yes, sir.
pick up and take yoga back with you.
I will.
Maybe somewhere out here on your travels that somebody out there that's out of order, not thinking clearly.
Yo, let it
That's
go.
a mission. Let it go.
Yo, let it go. We head to the shade. We head to the shade.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
My man. Yo, let it go. Yo, let it go.
ALEX-VAU. Alexander. Mr. Alexander. Hi. How are you? Oh, okay.
Are you?
Izzy! Always got that camera in my face, Izzy.
Are you in the Star Hill neighborhood?
I'm in the West Haven neighborhood.
She's with, well, you, Joy, can speak for herself.
Please, I'd love to learn.
Oh, no, I'm with a Public Housing Association of Residents for, which is, West Haven is the baby from Vinegar Hill.
Okay.
So, that's where it all started. So we have 7 public housing sites, and right now we're going into a redevelopment phase of redoing all of our public housing. And so we're starting with the senior building first, and then we'll move on to the family sites. But so lots of work.
It's really exciting to hear about the way the community is taking the lead in deciding what the community will look like going forward.
Well, but there's a lot of resistance to that, though, because I don't think that many people feel like low wealth, low income residents have the capability of planning. So there's a lot of resistance to that, and so, you know, we just stay in our lane.
And is it a process of, you say, a lot of people don't understand it or believe that it's possible? Is it bringing them in, going door to door, asking people to get involved?
Well, I think, you know, we tend to talk about race in the city of Charlottesville, but we never talk about class. So for me, it's a class problem, right? So, so it's usually difficult because we know that there's racism, but we never tackle classism about, you know, people who have less than the middle class. And so we are the ones that are left out. And so there is a pushback at that, right?
And when it's about community building or housing, we were talking about through the Community Development Finance Corporation or Finance Initiative, do you run up against parts of Charlottesville where you said the average home price was like $330,000, who don't want lower income residents living in their neighborhood?
But lower income residents can't afford it.
Yeah.
So even if they don't want them, and it's a choice to low income people, if they're making the money, they'll go where people don't want them, but you can't afford it. I mean, you know, the economic isn't on the same level of where the prices of houses are. I mean, people are not making, you have people working 2 and 3 jobs and they still can't afford, you know, my daughter works at UVA and make pretty good salary, but she's in Albemarle County because she can't find any rental or homes to buy here. So
Is part of what you're working on going to solve that in terms of providing housing that's affordable, apartments that single family homes that people can afford to live in here?
I don't think it will solve it. I think that it will help. I mean, I think all of what everyone is doing, I think of what PAR is doing with the redevelopment they're going through, that's going to help. I think what we're looking to do, that's going to help. But I think is more than just housing. You have to raise wages. People have to be able to make more money, and there has to be more opportunity. There has to be career paths as well. So if individuals want to start at an entry level, then it shouldn't be that they can't progress because they don't have the time to be able to gain more education because that is not given in their job opportunity, or that there's no other steps that are built in there to allow for that progression to happen naturally. So that's the goal, is how do we create that, and how do we take advantage of tech opportunities that are coming. There's got to be entry points in that doesn't require someone to have to go through a 4-year college degree in order to be able to take. We all know people that work in industries that did not go to college, that did not get that 4-year college degree, but they're doing very well. So how do we then allow that to, or put that into a formula that allows more individuals to be able to take advantage of that scenario, so they don't come out of school with $150,000-$60,000 worth of debt that, you know, they now have to figure out how they're going to spend the rest of their life repaying.
Yolanda, why don't we go inside?
Yes, sir.
You want to join us in the conversation?
Sure.
Yeah, come on in.
Glad that I met you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Would love to.
I was a 7-year-old when I first immigrated in 1959 before Ruby Bridge. We in Charlottesville. Ruby Bridge was integrated in 1960. And
What was the name of the school?
General Elementary School. And I was just telling you, it's still there. We're going to be celebrating the 60th anniversary, 60 years in September 8th that we integrated the white schools in Charlottesville.
September 8th of this year, because it was 1959. Yeah.
1959.
Absolutely.
So September 8th, we're going to be celebrating 60 years of entering the white school. This was the original black school, Jefferson School. I never got to go to Jefferson. I was 6 years old.
Thank you for sharing that with me. That's powerful.
So,
Yeah.
but as I was telling your assistants, with all the noise about guns, it should be against assault. But if you're hurting, I'm going to find some mechanism, some weapon, and the most dangerous weapon is a 2,000-pound bullet, and that's the vehicle. That's what terrorists are using now. Terrorists are using vehicles. So I mow down 50 people because I'm hurt. Or I may get 20. So if I can't get the car, I get a tractor. I get a bat, I'll get an axe. I'll get something. But we have to deal with the hurt that's going on within people. And now with school safety, everybody want to do an app, reporting bullying, protect the school. The shooters are actually in the school. There's no outside force, because if somebody really want to do something with children, they can go on the nearest school bus and just get up on the bus, and they got 30 children.
So what I want to say about what
We should walk inside now. Let's keep
Okay.
walking.
Why don't you actually, you want to join us too?
No, I've got
You gotta
to
go?
go see my elderly mother at the nursing home.
Okay, great to see you.
Yeah. My mother is Elizabeth.
To the shade.
She was my mother that was in the school. So a lot of people ask me, am I the hero? I'm not a hero. I was 6 and 7 years old. The real hero is the parents of the Charlottesville Pledge. And like I said, on September 8th, we're going to be celebrating 60 years of the desegregation of schools in the state of Virginia.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Mr. Alexander, I'm so glad I met you.
Nice to meet you. And
Please tell Ms. Taylor I said hello.
I'll tell my mom. I'll see her in about an hour. I'll tell her you say hello. And in the meantime, as you travel, try to remind people, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah,
Let
I
it
like
go.
that. I like that a lot.
And it's simple. And a lot of folks use YOLO. You only live once. Well, if you don't YOLO, you ain't gonna live YOLO. So you can get mad with me or a human, but you can't get mad with Yogo. Yogo is a bug. And the bug flies around the universe just to remind people, let it go. It's not that important. So I had to drive around a couple times because I was debating because I didn't want to be in front of camera. But I said, well, since you're here, you might as well get Yogo in, and
Yes,
you'll know that
absolutely.
that you came across Yogo in Charlottesville and just make it a spread.
And everyone else who was here today got to learn.
And then in Norfolk, Virginia, this week they had 10 shootings. Richmond, they had 7. And Alabama at the football game last night, 5 people got shot at the high school football game.
I hadn't seen that story yet.
Okay. So in other words, somebody didn't let it go.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. Welcome to Charlottesville.
Thank
My
you
name
for
is
having
Emily
me.
Martin.
Emily.
We're painting at the Early Childhood Development Center for the YMCA.
Oh, right on.
If you want to stop by, photo op, trying to make the building better. For the
Okay,
community.
yeah, okay, can we come by after this?
You know, we're really tight on time. We have 30 minutes.
I'm gonna try, Emily.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Look in there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I don't want to seem like I really appreciate
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else want some water? Somebody brought their own. Always prepared. There you go.
Me sitting on it. That's all.
He's so used to this already.
Look, we wanted to just thank all of you for coming out. I know it's a Saturday morning, game day, even though it's a away game. In Pittsburgh. I know. And, Labor Day weekend. So thank you so much for coming out. We like to do these discussions, this is the reason I'm working for Beto is that very few, if any, candidates come into communities, learn about the history, absorb what's going on locally, and then bring it back to the campaign in terms of understanding development policy, understanding what's going on in the country, and the work that we heard about this morning has been inspiring, and also something that I think the rest of the country can learn from. So Yolanda and Quentin, thank you so much for hosting us here. So what I thought we'd do is maybe just do a quick name and one sentence, because we don't have a lot of time. We're going to end at 11:30 sharp, and then we'll have a discussion. And the discussion really we want to ground it in the history of Virginia, history of Charlottesville, and then talk a little bit about demonstrations of August 12th, 2017, and then where the community is going from here. So,
I'm Yolanda Carell, I'm with City of Maryland Corporation.
Quentin Wells, local businessman and volunteer.
I'm Joy Johnson, Public Housing Residents and Chair of Public Housing Association of Residents.
Ridge Schuyler, I'm the Dean of Community Self-Sufficiency Programs at Piedmont Community College and the Director of the Network Work Program.
Tracy Wynn. I'm a local teacher at a private school born and raised in Charlotte.
Joaquin Wynn, local realtor, athletic director, and also the vice president of an organization called Outlaw Home Improvement Program, AIDA.
I'm Gail Kitch. I'm a civic engagement consultant and live in Albemarle County, outside the city.
I'm Barshika Martin with the City of Columbia and Columbia, South Carolina, TN Development Corporation.
I'm Andrea Copeland Whitsett. I'm a lifetime resident and actively involved in our community.
I'm Fran Harris, I'm Director of Community Engagement at the University of Virginia on staff project.
With some history in Texas.
With some history in Texas.
So I thought we'd maybe open up the discussion with just a little bit of history of Charlottesville and Virginia, the New York Times has been the 1619 project, and all of that is rooted here in Virginia. It's the home of slavery and white supremacy, but also the heartbed of democracy at the same time. So maybe Gail or Skylar, I thought maybe if you guys we do it just out of the back of the class. The one or the two of you want to maybe just kind of
Although I'd probably be both. No, Skylar, please. I love your project.
So what's the question?
Just contextualize, just kind of where we're sitting right now.